Hello, Dr. Alex Harper, your Secure Vibe coder. And we're going to run another live Secure Vibe coding session. Thanks so much for joining us. And what are we doing here? We're building this app called User Vibes OS. And the idea of this app, come back here. The idea of this app is to be a one stop shop for developers to receive vibes or feedback from their user throughout the user journey lifecycle. Okay, so whether they're hitting a landing page all the way through, perhaps giving them a survey or a wait list or email list, uh, ultimately, what we want to do is we want to get feedback from our user throughout the journey of that user on our site. Now we've jumped into the ideate phase right here because there's not a lot of competition in this block, and that's for feature request. There is competition in the other areas, but nobody's putting it all together, and we're going to put it all together. So we're going to start here, and then we're going to work our way around, probably in this direction right here. So once again, thanks for joining us. If you've joined us here, drop a chat and let me know that you're here and where you're from. Okay, let me get a little display, a little thing here. All right. Oh, hey, 3Ds. All right, thank you. Okay, turn that down a little bit. Thank you. Thanks for coming back, by the way. Missed you last night. I'm just kidding. All right, so here we go. We have our app over here, and we've been working on this for about 15 hours. So, we have quite a bit of functionality in place. In fact, we probably have more functionality than somebody who's been developing maybe for 15 weeks, in this app. So, that's impressive. And we owe all the credit to AI for that. All right. So we have a couple things working here. We have something called the Secure Vibe OS, Secure Vibe Coding OS. And that's a repository that I created and put out on GitHub. And that allows us to have a secure baseline, right? So this way we can start from a secure foundation, and it's our job just not to mess it up from there, right? And so I teach a lot of this in my Secure Vibe Coding Masterclass, which you can find out about up there in the QR code or also in the link below. And make sure if you're coming across this video, maybe you're watching it later, that you go ahead and hit a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. It helps us out. All right, so here we go. This is our functioning app. We have the front end, the landing page. And again, these are just placeholder images, but we are able to take payment processing right now. Okay, and then when you go onto the back end, okay, we have a dashboard. This is just placeholder data at the moment. Then we have an API keys page. Okay, so yesterday we made some improvements to this, and we split out the PK live key as well as, so this is our public key, and then we also have our secret key. All right, so you see these tiers of security. So we have tier 1 security and tier 2 security. So as we talked yesterday, the public key is going to be public, right? And because of that, it could be used and abused, right? So somebody could get a hold of that key, they can replay, they could do a bunch of things. So we put a lot of stuff in place yesterday. We still need to test it all out, but we have like rate limiting, and we have behavioral analysis and several other security features on the public key. But tonight we're going to focus on the secret key and helping users do that. All right, and that'll pretty much round out, the API key usage for our site, and then we can move on and do some other cool things. All right, so we have a security dashboard now that's going to give us some feedback if we've had anybody trying to, like, they've tripped off any of our behavioral analysis And again, this is pretty cool. We'll test this later. What we'll do is we'll hit the rate limits on our APIs, and we'll see if this dashboard is actually working. But this is something that Claude Code created for us yesterday, because we told it. I just simply told it I wanted to do monitoring, and it created this dashboard and all of the behavioral analytics below it. So that's pretty cool. Then we have our feature request, right? And so the changes here over the last couple of days are now that we have, a user, this is where like one of our customers will come in and they'll set up one of these feature requests for each of their websites, right? So right now we just happen to have 3 of them in here. When you go into them, they are a basic Kanban board. And yesterday we confirmed the capability that we have to reset these. Like right now, this has 5 categories in it. But if we don't have any tickets in here, then we can go ahead and reset it over here in settings, and we can reset it back to defaults. And basically it'll bring it down to 4. But since we have tickets in there, it won't do that. All right, so we've confirmed all of that. Now, what we're going to focus on for tonight is the embed tab. And we're going to make sure that over here on the web components in particular, that we show the user or tell the user how they can use this tier 2 security. Right now, this is not being described, right? So what we're going to do is going back over to our Windsurf here. We'll jump into, let me just make sure. Yep, okay. Yep, hey, no problem, 3Ds. Hey, I know it's early where you're at. Yeah, I'm just grateful that you keep coming back. I appreciate it. You've been there since the beginning. Appreciate it. Hey, if anybody else has joined us, go ahead and drop a chat here. Tell me where you're from. 3Ds is getting lonely out here in the chat. I do want the chat to go back and forth. I want you guys, I want to hang out with you guys. So that's why we're doing this, right? Get a little bit of a community going here. All right, so what we're going to implement here is this tier 2 security module, because currently that's not working at all. I had a little bit of trouble yesterday, and I still haven't sorted out with my ability to speak to this thing. That was working really good for the first couple of days, but then I ran through my free tokens, and then when I went to pay, it's now crashing. So anyway, we're going to have to type it in tonight until I can get that sorted out. Okay, so we'll go down here and we'll start Claude. Okay. All right, and we're going to say on the feedback, what do we call that? On the feature request. We are, and the embed tab, for web components, I want to be able to describe to the user how to do a proxy service to call us with the secret key, with their secret key. Explain that to the user on the web component and NPM pages, and describe that as part of the tier 2 security level. Okay. Let that cook. All right. Hey, I love that you were able to get that up and running. Did it just take you 10, 15 minutes, something like that? Yeah. Yeah, the backend management UI is pretty cool. It's just, it's just basic dashboard, and I can't take credit for that. That's the other guy's code that I forked, but I added all of the security stuff in it. And it's good once you've done it a few times, like I have. Like literally, I showed it to somebody else the other day, and it took like 10 minutes. No, it took 12 minutes for me to get it up. That's kind of the rate whenever I'm talking. If I'm not talking, I can get it under 10 minutes. But if I'm explaining it to people, it's about 12 minutes. That's pretty good. You can't beat that. Okay. All right. It's adding the updates to that instruction page. Let's get some other, change that music up some. Let's try this one. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, understood. Yeah, nothing wrong with Cursor. I used to use Cursor. They just made me mad when they upped the prices, and I think they made a lot of people mad. So I went looking for something else. And that's how I ended up going to Claude Code. I used to use Cursor before that. Well, actually, I went from Cursor to Windsurf, and then I was using Windsurf for a while, and then I got fed up like paying the API rates. So then I switched to Claude Code Max, and cap my API cost. But I'm telling you, I'm looking at Gemini 3. Gemini 3 has some pretty cool stuff, but the thing is with these models is like at the beginning it's a lot of hype. And what you find is like, give it a few weeks, like, because what they tend to do is they push their best model forward, but then they throttle it. The term is called nerfing. I don't know if you've heard of other people calling it that, but like what they're doing is they take a football and they change it into a Nerf football, one of those sponge ones. And so, they sell you like this wide open model, and they basically have it, wide open, like from performance point of view. But then what they do is when they start getting slammed on the back end because they oversold it, there's only a fixed number of GPUs in these data centers, right? Like they can't just that's not cloud enabled, right? Like it's going to take, this stuff runs like on GPUs. So what they have to do, they have to nerf it. They have to like kind of play with the throttling, and they basically, you don't get the full model. And I've really been disappointed with that, with these models. And Anthropic does the same thing. And they also beta and switched me from Opus to Sonnet 4.5, which really ticked me off. Like, I used to really love Opus. I built a lot of stuff on Opus. And then one day they just said, oh, we're changing the weekly limits on Opus. And I basically could only get a day's worth of use out of it. It's junk. And then when I complained to them, they said, oh, sorry, it's resource intensive and we had to make some changes. I'm like, yeah, you guys, man. So what they do is they oversell it. And then when it gets popular, then they hurt the people who came in first. And that really gets on my nerves. Now, right now I'm looking at Anti-Gravity from Google, and also look at Factory AI. I like both of those IDEs and frameworks. The problem is that now I'm really like the skills capability of Claude Code. So until those other guys start, implementing some form of skills, then I'm probably going to be using Claude Code. So, it is what it is. I do like the skills capability. Hopefully you're picking that, or you're seeing that like kick in automatically, and it's helping you out as well. So, all right, here we go. It looks like we've completed that, at least first go around at it. Let's take a look at it. Okay. Okay, so we got some more stuff down here on tier 2 now. Okay, when to use tier 2. Okay, good. How it works. Good. All right, sweet. Yes. Yes, I like it. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to give this, or actually we'll just tell Claude Code to implement that. Okay, now implement that on the separate site we have at Test site A. On the home page, on the home page, replace or add another widget at the bottom. Okay. Okay, on the home page, add another widget at the bottom. That would be the fourth widget. Okay, yep, we already have 3 up working yesterday. Okay, do you want to proceed? Yes. When I first did this, I think a couple nights ago, I ended up using like another instance of Claude Code, but that's just confusing. And this one has all the context, so you might as well let it do its thing. Okay, hey, I like that idea with Cursor. Now, the difference with that, though, with Cursor, and that's a good approximation what you did there. But the magic with Claude Code is the progressive revelation, they call it. So only the YAML part of the skill file at the top gets loaded into the context, and then it goes and gets the rest of it when it needs it. Whereas if you load it into Cursor rules files, they all get loaded up into context. And as far as I'm aware, you can't do it progressively. Now, if you've seen something else, please let me know. You know, what I like about Cursor recently is they have the browser use built in, the browser functionality, which is pretty slick. I'm telling you, the other when I try to use it like in Windsurf or just with Claude Code, it's very clunky, very slow. So I've not been using it. In fact, I find it faster just to test the site myself and then to copy paste errors out of like console logs and stuff, because yeah, you could get AI to do it, but it's just so doggone slow and it is chewing through the tokens. By the way, you'll notice in that Secure Vibe Code OS that there's a self-install skill, and you might have some luck with this. 3Ds, check it out. I was playing with it like a week ago or so, and I had it to where I could just say, go ahead, like I could download the clone, go into the folder, and just say, go ahead and self-install, and it would pick up that skill, and it would immediately go out and start making like browser use calls and stuff, and actually log into these websites and stuff, and get you the keys that you need. Now, the problem with that, though, is it was really slow. Like, it took like 40 minutes to auto install, where I could have just done it in 10 minutes. So I stopped using it. But maybe in the future, that'll get better. Yep. Yeah, can you confirm that, or do you understand what I'm saying about the Cursor, Claude Code has that progressive revelation on the skills, so it only loads into the context what it needs when it needs it, and that saves you a lot of tokens, a lot of context. Okay, let's see what we got down here. Okay. Okay. Okay, so it's making that proxy server on the back end. Now, what it's doing here, let me go back to the web page and just explain. So we have 2 types of API use, right? We have the public key up here, and then the private key what we do is we still have our widget, right? But then what the widget does on the back end, it calls a proxy server that then calls us. And the magic of that is in that proxy server, what we can do is we can put the secret key. They can put it in their environmental variable, and that way they don't expose it, right? And then that's the only secure way that you can do it. Anything else that you do puts the secret key out here, and that's no bueno. Like don't ever do that, right? That would be really bad. Okay, so yep. All right, so now what it's doing is it's writing a secret key out there. Yeah, but I want to put my own secret key in there. Let's see here. It may be fetching one from the user. Let's see what it's doing. Okay, there's the public one. Yeah, okay. We'll take a look at that. Okay. In fact, I'll go over here and look right now. What did it do? Just switched up the music again. Starting to get on my nerves. Okay, here we go. All right, so taking a look at this user vibe secret key here. Okay, yeah, it's just a placeholder. Okay, that's cool. And then right here we have the public key went in. So we'll go ahead and bring this one over. That's good. That's what I wanted it to do. Is just, I was hoping it would only just put a placeholder in, and it did. All right, so here, let's put a secret key in, and let's see this thing work. So we'll go back here. We'll go to our API keys, and we'll grab this secret key right here, copy it, okay? And then what we'll do is we'll take that over and put it to use right here. Okay, so we put that in. All right, now let's test that out. Okay, so we can open up another web page here, and let's see what web server we're running on back here. We won't run on any. Okay, cool. Yep. Yeah, I think we sometimes take bandwidth for granted here in our country, 3Ds. I'm seeing your comment there. Yeah, I could see that. Like I said, I think I have buku bandwidth, but I know that others may not. So I have to keep that in mind sometimes on tools and recommendations. So I appreciate that. Okay. All right. So let's see what else. Okay. So now we're running on 3002. Let's go ahead and check that out. Okay, here's the widget we got going last night. 1, 2, 3, and down here's the fourth one. Okay, all right. So missing required API key, widgets require authentication, store your API key and environmental variables. Yeah, we did that. Okay, so let's just paste that error in. Maybe there was some other step that we skipped. Okay, so let's see what it told us to do up here. Okay, the fourth widget. Okay, should have an yeah, the fourth one down here is the web component with JWT proxy. Okay, so let's just make sure we didn't miss some other step. Updated this file. User vibe secret key for JWT signing. Yep. Okay, added the web component, configured it for JWT mode. That's that Java web token. Okay, created a secure backend. Okay, all right. Well, let's tell about the error. Okay, we added the secret key, but still get this error. Paste that in. Yeah, hey, I appreciate that, 3Ds. Yeah, it is coming along. And this is just our test site over here, right? So this is like, this would be like, developer comes to us on the back end, they set up their API keys, they get, these instructions, and then they go implement our tool. Now, obviously, they wouldn't put it all on one page like we are, right? But what we're demonstrating here, this was the iframe, and this is an iframe, or this is the roadmap. And then this is a web component. That's the third one. And then now what we're doing is web component with the secret key. These other ones have public keys on them. And we did all of that yesterday. Got all that worked out. Yeah, it's coming along. Yeah, it's amazing what you can do just in a week, with AI. It's amazing. We haven't even got started, man. Like we are working out some fundamental stuff. Like this has to work. Otherwise we're not doing user feedback. But, we can do so much other stuff, especially on the back end. We can get that dashboard, with real data in it. That'll be exciting when we do that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We have other things on our to-do list as well. Okay. Okay. Yeah, have you looked at that anti-gravity yet? That looks pretty slick, and it's free right now, but I hear people complaining that they've throttled it down. You can only use it for like a few hours and it times out. But that's going to be pretty cool when they get all the bugs worked out of that. And they actually, Google is busy competing with the other guys, right? So it turns out that, they're going to make stuff cheap. They can make stuff cheap for a long time. And that's been Google's strategy since day one, right? Like Gmail is still free, right? That's because we are the data and they're selling us, right? So they'll figure out a way to give away the stuff for mostly free for a long time, and they can hurt the other guys by doing that because, they've got billions of dollars in the bank and the other guys don't. So, yeah. Okay. And to see a large build like this. Yep. Cool. Okay, I fixed the JWT implementation. Okay, no longer requires API key when in JWT mode. Okay, that makes sense. That's because the secret key is used to create the JWT token, right? So you don't need to also pass an API key at the same time. Okay, let's go look at it. Probably still gonna have some stuff to work through. Oh, okay. Here we go. We got something looking here. What is this? This widget is configured. Okay, so hold on a second. Let's read this. Okay, so basically what it did was it just set up the JWT token, but that's not good enough. And we want to see the whole I didn't ask for this. Implement the widget using JWT mode, not instructions on the end site. That was kind of weird. Yeah, I hear you, man. Shiny object syndrome is a real thing. And yeah, I can be guilty of it as well. And that's what I was saying before. It pays sometimes just to let some stuff bake in, let some other people beta test it, right? And they can chase those shiny objects. The real ones will pan out. And I've found over time, over the last year, a lot of things have come and they've claimed that they're better than Claude Code, but they really aren't. And so that's why I end up staying with Claude Code. And I am on the max plan, so I pay like $200 a month, and that allows me to be in it every day, basically banging on it with multiple projects. So if you're not in it every day with multiple projects, you don't need that. You can get by probably with a $20 or $50 plan. But you do get what you pay for, right? And even these other models like Cursor and stuff, they come with like their own like LLMs, but they're not as good. And you end up just chasing your tail a whole lot more. You're going to pay for it one way or the other, either with time or money. It's sad, but true. Okay. 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 It's working. It's thinking. Hey, anybody else that's joined us? I see there's more people out there. Drop me a chat. Tell me where you're from. We are building an app. It's called User Vibes OS, and it's about collecting feedback from the user. We're going to do a whole lot more with it, but that's where we're focused right now. And we're working on the front end so that it's a widget that developers install on their website so they can collect feedback. It's very valuable. It's probably one of the most valuable things you can do in any application is collect feedback from your users. And most people don't do it. So there's a huge opportunity out there to make it easy for people to do it. There are a couple competitors, maybe a half dozen competitors in this space, but they have issues, and we've seen some of that in our research, but I've also seen it like practically using these other competitors. And so this was part of my motivation for jumping into this part of the app and getting this going, because I need it. I need it in my other projects, and I know other people need it. And we are vibe coding, folks. So we're not writing this code. AI is writing it for us. Now we've given it some parameters, and we also put some guardrails around it for security. But then believe me, we're going to come back and test all of this and make sure that it's doing what it's saying that it's doing. And that's very important. We are secure vibe coders. That's what I teach here on this channel. So just hang out with me and you will pick up a lot of security tips along the way. Just little nuggets, little pro tips that I throw out. I've been doing this I've been in cyber for 36 years. It sounds crazy for me to even say that. It's probably longer than most of you have been alive. And so I've been coding for more like 46 years. And, but really been into cybersecurity, and before they even called it cybersecurity. I've written 7 books on the topic. I've taught at universities. I've got a ton of experience to share, and that's what I'm doing on this channel. Okay, refresh your browser. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is different. Okay, that's something that we can work with. Let's see what this says too. pick that up. I just copy pasted that image in there too. Looks like my screen share came off. That's weird. Okay. I just copy pasted that error in so that Claude Code could see it. Stop. You don't need to add convex to the end site. This is a proxy back to us. We run convex. Why do you think you need it there? So what I did was I interrupted it. You got to pay attention to it. Sometimes it'll go off track, and it's trying to install convex on our third-party site, and that's not necessary at all. Now it's going to apologize to me. You're absolutely right. I was confusing the architecture. Test A is a customer site that just proxies back to yes. Okay. Receive the widget requests, forward them to us, our main app, add a JWT authentication, and return the response. Yes. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got now. Okay, we still have that same. And what's interesting is it's given a JSON error. We're not even using JSON that I'm aware of. That was like a Mongo problem all the time. And I guess that JWT token is in JSON. Now that I think about it, it encrypts a JSON packet or signs it is a proper way to say it. Okay, create those backend endpoints. The proxy's trying to call your main app, but they don't exist yet. Okay, well, yeah, that could be a problem. But I'm not seeing a 404 error. Okay, let's see now. Same error. I am not seeing a 404 error. Where are you getting that information? Use ultra thinking to sort this out. 404 is a page not found, and I wasn't seeing that. I was seeing a JSON error, parsing error. What it's saying is that it was getting a doc type here, which would be HTML instead of JSON. Okay. Same thing. Same issue. Now I'm going to tell it something else. Log that response so I can share it with you. It's asking me how Claude is doing in this session. Bad. Now what it should do is log this. So what we can do is go in here and check our console. Okay. This is interesting too to me because it's doing a call to convex. I don't think it should be doing that. Let me see here. I'll ask it what that is here in a second. Okay, so there's the error. And I'm going to get all of this in my error. And I'm also going to ask it, why is it talking to, okay, this is, okay, what are these calls to clerk and convex on my, okay, I'm just pasting those errors in. Sometimes it takes a moment for that copy paste to come because that was a lot of lines. It grabs the source code there too. Or look, that's 2,000 lines. That's probably too much. Let's go ahead and say, why is the third party site calling clerk and convex? We should simply be proxying to our server and serving up that widget as normal. Again, stop what you're doing and get ultra thinking to reevaluate the implementation and fix this. Okay, what I can see it doing is it's adjusting the cybersecurity policies, the CSP policies, and the CORS headers. Okay. All right, so let's see here. Let's see what it said. The widget iframe is loading from 3000 your app and trying to call a relative proxy URL. which resolves to this, okay, instead of the customers. Yes. Okay. Okay, well, let's see. Different error. Failed to fetch. Let's see what these issues are. Okay, tree hydrated. I usually don't get concerned about these tree hydrated. That's probably because of the other error. Probably because of this one. Give that one. And we'll go ahead and give the other one too. Okay. Okay. It's giving us some more debug information here in the printout. Let's see here. Full widget implementation requires additional data layer. This is not helpful. The end site, the test site, should call or should implement our web component only. Then the web component should call a proxy server on that test site, which will then use the secret key to call us on our server and relay that widget information. Use ultra thinking and explain to me how you implemented this and stop guessing. I got to get my microphone working. I was getting used to speaking to this thing. I can go so much quicker. I'll work on that in the next day or so. I was using this tool called Super Whisper, and it just failed on me. I've got a trouble ticketing with it. I'm looking at another one. It's called Whisper Flow. I think I'll fire that one up. But I've already paid for Super Whisper, so they're gonna have to refund me or something. Okay, implementation. All right, identified the issue. Current implementation. Test site homepage. I removed the working web component and replaced it with a coming soon message. Mistake. Yeah. Web component supports JWT and proxy URL attributes. Creates iframe to localhost 3000. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about the iframe. I don't know about that iframe to 3000. Okay, feature request widget inside the iframe. Okay, tries to call proxy. Okay. But since it's running inside an iframe from localhost 3000, relative URLs resolved to 3000, not to 3002. Yeah. Cross-origin request, which causes a CORS error. Yeah. The real solution, the widget should not take client-side fetch calls to the customer's proxy. Instead, customer's proxy should fetch widget data from, that's right. Return the data directly, that's right. Yes. This last part here is the way it's supposed to work. I don't know why it went off and did this other stuff. Three Ds. Did you tell me you're going to college? You're studying? Yeah, that's a good idea. I have a better tool than WhisperFlow. If you want it, just let me know. Yeah, give me the name of it. As soon as this stops, I'm going to check its context window. I bet it's filled up. You're probably right. We learned this painfully a couple nights ago. It gets dumber when it does that. That's a bug, really. I did report the bug, but I never got any feedback. It never gave me an email or anything saying they're working it. So. Oh, okay. I thought you said you were going to college. Must have been somebody else. Every time I scroll up a little bit, then it jumps to the entire top of the frame here. Okay. Hey, thanks for that tip. Whispers. Okay. Oh, you made it. Cool. Oh, cool. All right. So, um, okay, customer site. Okay. iframe points to widget proxy. Okay. Widget proxy is a reverse proxy. It fetches the widget HTML from us. Okay. Injects it. Okay. Now runs on customer's domain. Yeah, I don't know about that. Okay, API proxy receives widget data request. Okay, and then we have our stuff back here. Okay, it loads from here. Let's see what it did. Ah, context. It's only shown 27%. Strangely, I never saw it compact, and I would think that it would have more than that filled up right now because we've been at it a bit. Show me this in a diagram, how this flow works. And we have something up here. Okay, hold on a second. This is why we document our stuff. And I think this had a simpler way to do it in it. Let me just scan it real quick. Okay. This is all tier 1 stuff up here, tier 2 right here, optional. Use existing secret key. Validation, yes, yes. Tables used for, okay. Project settings. Did we toggle on the JWT authentication? Not that I would think it would have told us that by now, but we'll check that. Is that even in there? Okay, embedded instructions. Okay, here we go. Okay. Here's what it should look like. All right, so look, what we're going to do is we're going to feed this back to it and say, check the implementation against this. Just drag this in here. It is still not working. Use ultra thinking and simplify this by evaluating the doc here and use the proxy described in that doc. Okay. Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, I really need to hear back from the Superflow guys. They ticked me off because I paid I paid for it and put a key in. I paid an annual plan like a dummy, and so I really want to get that one working. Hey, who else joined us? Throw a chat in here and let me know. Tell me where you're from. We are building an app called User Vibes OS, and its purpose is to collect feedback from our users, or from our users technically. So developers will be our users in our app, and they will come and get a widget off of us, and they will deploy it into their websites. And so we have much of it working, but we've been working on debugging the secure version of it, and that's what we do here: secure vibe coding. So lesser vibe coders would have already shipped this thing, but we're not done with it yet because it's not doing it securely. We want to use a secret key, and we want to protect that using a JWT token. And so that's what we've been figuring out here. And we're letting AI do the coding. All right, so we haven't written a line of code, and we watch it. We can ask questions about it, but we're letting it do its thing. We're going to see how good it is. And so far, it's been pretty good, but we have hit a bit of a barrier here, but we're going to break through it. Never quit. Yeah, simple server-side fetch. Okay, that's right. The customer never has the public key in their client-side code. It's only in their backend. Yes, correct. Okay, so let's check this one out. See what we're getting down here. False proxy identified. Okay. Let's give this errors over to Claude Code. See what was going up here too. Oh, that was that hydration mismatch stuff. Okay. Yeah, when I see this right here, sometimes that tells me that I need to restart the server on the on this side. Let's see, are we getting any 404 errors in here? I don't see them. Okay, so that must not be an issue then. All right, let's tell it right here. Let's give it those errors. Still not loading. This unidentified right here is a problem. So hopefully it'll recognize that and go off and fix that. Let's see if we're seeing anything in our logs. Okay, Convex has been quiet. Makes sense because we haven't updated anything in our settings or anything. Bunch of public key requests. No errors. Okay, that's good. Same thing. No change. Okay, let's see, refresh and see, look for these logs that say widget iframe. Let's see, are we seeing any of those logs? Not seeing those logs. Okay, so it's doing its work over on the other test site over here. We're just seeing that. I'm just watching it, seeing what it's doing. Okay, the endpoint isn't being called at all. This means either Next.js hasn't picked it up or the iframe isn't loading. Okay. Yeah, we can use some curl commands. What curl does, curl is a browser-based, a console-based browser. And so what Cloud Code's doing is it's using curl to reach out to that remote website and see if it can do some troubleshooting that way. So here's the curl command right here. Oh, I just scrolled up. Okay. Do you have that 3Ds? Thanks for that. Do you have that out like on GitHub or something? Okay. All right, so what it's telling us to do is restart that server. We can do that. Oh, there's those errors. They were on the they were on the server, not in the console. It didn't tell us that. So here, let me give that to it. Now, honestly, this is something where Cursor shines, 3Ds, because Cursor, can read the console logs, right? And that's a huge advantage. And I miss that. I miss that functionality from Cursor. Yeah, definitely. Okay. What it's saying is that it should be working. It's not, of course, but I'm gonna go look for these logs again and bring them back. Okay. And those logs are over here. Okay, here's where I restarted the server. So I'm gonna go ahead and just grab all of these. Okay, server logs show the proxy is working and the config is injected. Now check your browser console. You should see this. Okay, if you're still seeing false, then view the source of the iframe. By the way, why are we using an iframe? I want to use a web component for this. Would that make any difference? Oh, okay, I see. Okay. Our web component was creating an iframe. Yeah, that doesn't sound right. Okay. Why in the world was our web component creating an iframe? They're two different things. Still says loading widget. It's been loading for a while. That ain't working. Okay, it's still cooking over here. We'll sort this out. Make sure the rest of it's still working. It didn't break it. Yep. Yeah, but hold on a second here. The JWT should point to us. Above, you said that is not correct. The JWT should point or should be used in the connection back to user vibes OS. Yep, so we're back to this. Stop. Do not run build. I will run that. Follow the document given. Okay, I'm looking up here in the document, and it's not using an iframe. So I don't know where it got that idea. Somewhere along the way. Yeah, right here is this is a web component. That's not an iframe. Okay. So you can see, even when you give it some sort of, this is in essence a spec that we've given it, this plan document. Even so, it's having difficulty. I almost looked there for a second like it was trying to work. Let's see here what we got here in these logs. Okay. Tree hydration error again. Not too concerned about that. It's this one right here is the problem. Okay, and the test site terminal should see this. Let's go see what we're seeing there. No, we haven't. We haven't really seen much in there at all, and that's a problem. This is, oh, I saw it build. Anytime it builds on its own, that's a bad idea. You want to, pro tip here, you don't want your LLMs building your code for you, because unless you tell it to, because what will happen is when you already have, build is separate than the dev mode, right? So build actually compiles it all up where dev doesn't. And if you build while you have your dev server running, it breaks it. And I just had to restart it here. And I should have noticed that a few moments ago. But yeah, you don't, anytime you see the LLM building on your behalf and you didn't ask it to, then you want to stop it. You want to tell it not to do that again. And what I should do, and I've already put that in the Claude file, so I'm actually surprised that it did it anyway. It went rogue. Okay, and now let me go back to here. Okay, restart, I've done that. Refreshed, I've done that. Okay, after restarting, look for options, request. Okay, and then test site terminal. Okay, all right. Okay, I think it's talking about these right here. Okay, so we're running into some content security policy issues. From the test site. Content security policy looks like it was blocking the fetch. That explains why over here we weren't seeing any fetches. See how these are all just these, like it's hitting the main page, but it's not hitting the proxy. Okay. Okay, now it's saying restart the dev server. We shouldn't technically have to. We should just be able to hit the 3002 here and see if we get any progress. Okay, well that's different. Okay, all requests filter is not a function. That's much different and much more encouraging. I can see right here, and I bet you if we look at our Claude code, I mean, we look here, yeah, we're actually seeing the request come through now. That's all of this stuff right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it all of that information. I'm going to give it the this new error. However, we have these logs now on test site terminal. Okay. Grab these, and I see a 500 here. That's a server error. Okay, so that's a clue. Okay, we're going to give it all of it. Yeah, that's not good. See how these turn red and I get this little PTY host down here? I think it's because I just filled up my my copy paste buffer. Tag on it. I'm gonna have to hit this button. It's gonna drop that Claude Code session. There's no other way around it. When you see these go red over here and you get a PTY host error down here or a caution, it's kind of locked up. And you need to hit it and let it stop. Hopefully we can recover it. Come down here and put Claude, continue. Okay. Okay, it's right back where it was, but I have, okay, I pasted back in those from the test server terminal. And then I am getting this new error on browser. Okay, and then what we can do is come back over to, okay, we have to restart our dev server now and our convex. Okay, this one finally returned, but we're not going to use it anymore. In fact, I'm going to kill it, save memory. Okay. Okay, the other one quit too. That's this one here. Whenever you hit that terminal button, it kills all your shells. Okay. Okay, so now this is running on the wrong port. Stop that. Okay, let's make sure we're on the right port back here. We are. Okay, what we'll do is we also want to make sure that we're on 3002. So in order to do that, I'll just run another run dev, just launch another one here for 3001. And then what that allows me to do is come over here and launch this one again, and that'll be 3002. We want it to be the same as it was before so that it works. Because remember, we updated the CSP policy, and it's gonna look for that port. Okay, here they come. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then we have this error, and that's what we wanted. Okay, it's a new error. So now what we can do is we can put that in here. And finally, we're back to where we were before all that crash. Ugh. Okay. It found that, it saw that 500 error. We saw that too. I hate it when it does this. It says it wants to add logging. Like, you have the source code. Debug it. Okay. Restart your server. Don't need to. CSP changes in the middleware. Refresh the browser. Okay, now where's this error going to be? Share those logs. Okay, in the user vibe OS terminal. Okay, check for these logs, and that terminal is up here. There's the logs. Okay. Okay. Take all of these. Probably just need a couple of them. I don't want to fill up the context and crash it again. Okay, perfect. The error is clear. I'm glad you think so. Invalid API key format. Okay, it's passing an empty or invalid API key to Convex. The issue is that when the JWT mode, we got to make sure we're in that mode too. The API key in the request body is empty. Okay, Convex still expects it. The fix is to use the public key from the token exchange. Let me update the, I don't know about this statement right here. The fix, when JWT is validated, use public key from the token exchange. Wait, why are we using the public key from token exchange? Shouldn't we pass the PK key that the test server has? Customer proxy should be passing their public key in the request. Let me check what the proxy is actually sending. Yeah, read all of that. Now, while it's doing that, I'm going to go over here and look at our user vibe OS in the settings. Okay. Just want to see if we have this JWT token. Yeah, here it is right here. Oh, look here. Use short-lived tokens in your backend proxy server. Let's enable that. Please select a secret key for JWT signing. Okay, hold on a second. This could be part of the problem. Please select a JWT secret key. I thought we did one whenever we set this thing up. Okay, hold on a second. There's nothing in here to select that key. Okay, hold on a second. Okay. Let it go ahead and fix that. I am noticing I was not in JWT mode in the settings. But when I try to enable it, it says to in toast message, we selected a private key when we set that up, that board. I think I know what happened there. Along the way, we deleted those keys while we were testing the other day, and I think we probably deleted the secret key out from underneath of that board. I think during testing, I deleted that key from the board we are using. So I'm gonna tell this thing to stop. I just told it that, then I'm telling it to stop. Wait until I remove the boards and create a new one. Okay. Delete this project. My first project. Okay, delete this one. Delete this one too. I just want to start from scratch and make sure that we didn't screw this up ourselves. Okay, create your first project. My first project. Select an API key. There's two in here. Okay, that's the public and the private. We'll fix that. Like, that's not good. It should say public and private here. We actually want it to be associated with both of those. I don't like that. So what I'm going to do is stop right here and fix this. When I create a new board, it is asking me for either key pub or either key. One is pub and other is private. It should not do that. It should associate both if present. Okay, this is a functional bug. Okay, so when we select a key, it should not ask us. It was shown both there, but under the hood, I happen to know that one was public and one was private because we've only generated one set of keys. So the fact that it was showing me two tells me that one was public and one was private. So, okay. Not just one, that's right. Fix the project creation component, okay. Come on now. Okay, hey 3Ds, thanks. Check in tomorrow. We'll have it. We'll be past this bug more than likely. Otherwise, I'll be picking it up then too myself. Hey, thank you. Thanks for hanging out. Hey, who else is here with us? Drop a hello. Okay. Okay, it's over here working, and I'm trying to pull up the web page. That's not smart. Let it finish. Hey, I see I have a Twitch friend out there watching me on Twitch. Hey, drop me a hello. Tell me where you're from. Okay, see you 3Ds. Yes, here we go. That's what we want to see. Okay, I just saw an error. I'm dropping that error into the console here so that it can work on it. Okay. Okay. All right, so we got rid of that error. So now let's try to add a project again. My first project. Okay, good. So now it's showing the public key and the secret key. That's what we want. Okay, create a project. Okay, sweet. All right, now I doubt that this will work, but let's just give this a shot. Oh my goodness, it worked. Oh, 3Ds, you missed it, man. All that time. And what we were doing, what we were messing up was the actual key was broken. Hold on a second. Wow. All right. So we're just about done here for the night, guys. Let me tell you what happened. All right. So we have two forms of APIs that we can use, public and private. And in our testing yesterday, what happened was I went ahead and deleted some keys and created new ones, not thinking that we actually, then I basically made these projects orphans. They had no keys in them. And then all day today, I've been banging my head against the wall trying to get this project to work. Come to find out, it doesn't have a key associated with it underneath the hood. So as soon as I fix that, boom, all of a sudden our proxy down here starts working well. And this looks correct. Okay, so we can add our first idea here. So we can just say test request. And we put test here. Okay, and hit submit idea. And bang, that worked. Okay, so now back on the back end, we see we have one issue in here, just like that. And we can vote for that issue right here. We can hit our vote, and then, oh, we got an error here. Okay, so when we tried to vote, oh, I didn't like that. What I want to do is I want to get that toast message and paste that. Okay. All right, so we made huge progress. Let me fix this error real quick. Okay, it works now. But if I vote through that proxy, I get this toast message. Okay, let's make sure our convex is still running. Okay, yeah, here's our convex errors. Invalid API key format. It's part of that voting. Okay, I think what it has to do is it has to pass that API back through the voting as well. Okay. The vote request is missing the API key. Duh. Okay, but now everything's starting to work much better. I shot myself in the foot. I deleted those keys yesterday because we were testing, not thinking today that, hey, I've got this board out here that has no valid keys underneath of it. And as soon as I figured that out and deleted those boards, then bingo bango, it started working. Yeah, I feel stupid for that, but you know, that happens. That happens. Okay, so, all right, so now what it's doing is it's fixing that voting functionality. Man, I can't believe how quickly that started. It worked immediately as soon as I selected the proper key. As soon as 3Ds left, then I was able to figure that out. That's funny. All right. Okay. 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 Error still there. It's still working on it. Nope. Refresh your browser. Gotta pick up some new code. It's gotta pick up that widget again. Okay. Vote. I think it might be a different error. Let's see. Yeah, it is. It's a different error. Yep, we can see the API keys coming through now. But one of these other fields is off. Project ID, it looks like, was off. That needs to be passed in the header, not in the body. Red here means, you know, it was in the body. Okay, the project ID in the header instead of the body. Okay, all right. Let's see what you did. Vote. Okay, vote recorded. All right, so that should have updated. I don't like that, but let's see what we got on the back end. Oh, we got one vote. Okay, but on the front end, it didn't record that vote. That worked, but the vote did not show up on the front end through the proxy. Still says 0. Okay, you can see what's going on here. It explained it to us that through this proxy, it's not reactive like Convex is. So what it has to do is it has to, whenever you do an action like that, it needs to trigger a refresh. Okay, so let's see what happens. I'm going to have to add another issue and vote on it, because that you can only vote once, because that's another thing that we put in just for security reasons or for just performance reasons. We only want our users voting once. We don't want them like stacking the deck up. Okay, this is called a callback. And basically what it's saying is go ahead and refresh that after this action. Okay, come on. Okay, who else is out here with us? We're getting ready to wrap it up. Drop me a hello. Tell me that you've where you're from and if you've enjoyed this. Just debugging this one little feature here so that after we vote, it actually updates the page and we get a count on the front end. I'm curious. Let me go up and look at the other widgets. Yeah, see, it's updated those immediately. But it doesn't do it through the proxy yet. Okay, let's refresh. Nope, got this error. Okay. Okay, refresh your browser and check the console. This will tell us what type of format the data so we can get it fixed. Okay, I think it's right here is what it's asking. Yeah, right here. It's missing required field. I think we moved that project ID up to the header, but it's still expecting it somewhere on the back end in the body. See, now it's putting it back in the body. Why did it do that? Convex needs it in the body, apparently. I don't know about that. I think we might have just went in a circle here. We'll see here in a second. Okay, got rid of that error. So let's go ahead and now see, refresh. Okay, so there's our updated. Okay, so it removed the vote. I like that. And we're gonna add it back in. Okay, it's working. Sweet. All right, guys. So, man, That was like an hour and a half, hour and 50 minutes and I screwed it up because I had already deleted the key from a previous day. All right, enough of that. Hey guys, that happens. And sometimes, you take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But we caught back up. We've got all of them working now, including our maximum security through proxy mode. Now, one thing I want to do is give me a diagram of how the proxy is working. Then what I want to do is have it update the docs and update the web page instructions so that the user knows how to implement this proxy properly. Okay, let's see here. That's what I wanted to see. Like a little crude diagram here. Okay, so we have a home page, okay, which we saw on this port 3002, and this is the object that gets put into the home page. That's called a web component, okay? And what it's doing then is it's calling on 3002 a local proxy, okay? And then it's calling ultimately out to this URL. Okay. Now, I think what we could do is we can remove this base URL because it doesn't need to share that with the client. And I think that's one of the changes that I'll have it make. Okay, so then, all right, so then it makes this call. Then an iframe loads from user vibe OS. Okay. User votes and it fetches also through the proxy. CORS is allowed. Okay, and it ultimately then makes a post request through that proxy, exchanges a public key for JWT. Yeah, that's the Java Web Token. Okay. It caches that for 5 minutes. You don't want to keep your JWT tokens more than 5 minutes if you can help it, because it's just so they don't get reused on you. Okay, forward the request with the JWT plus the public key. Okay, the JWT goes into the header here as part of the authorization. Okay, then back on our side, what we're doing is we're receiving and then we're requesting. Okay, one thing I don't like with two things, the fact that we've hardwired the back end into the front end and then that we're still using a iframe. Let me check on that. All right, now before we go any further, what I want to do is push these changes up to our GitHub. Okay, give a strong commit and push to origin. What it's going to do is give us a strong commit message. This is a pro tip. You always, when you make like a major breakthrough, you want to push it to GitHub. So that way we can always revert. Like if now I'm going to mess with it some more, and if I screw it up, I can just say, okay, revert that. Okay, it's going back and looking at the last commits, and it's going to then generate a nice commit message for us. Okay, here it is right here. It's all the stuff that we did since our last commit. It's actually a bit too much. I should have committed more often, but we're here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and say yes to that commit. Okay, and it'll go ahead and push that up to the origin. We'll see this disappear, this number right here. I could also hit that button, but I told it to, so I'm just going to let it do its thing. Okay, good. So we pushed that up to GitHub now. So we're set as far as that goes. Let's see. We no longer need this. Let's see here. Close repo. Okay. Yeah, all we need is this one up here. All right, now I notice on the test site we were passing the go back up here and look. We're passing this parameter. To the web component. We don't need to do that. Just use that in the proxy server and don't expose that URL to the client. Also, the web component should fetch a web component, not an iframe. Okay, now that second part there might break it, and that's okay. Then if we do, and if I get frustrated with it, I'll just back it out and we'll worry about it tomorrow. But I want to clean this up a little bit. And then what I want to do is put the instructions on our page so that when a developer comes and gets this widget, that they actually can make sense of it. And, they don't have to go through all this stuff that we did to debug it, right? Okay, should point iframe to customer backend endpoint, not user vibe. No, you are not understanding. Fix the first issue I gave you. Focus on that. Sometimes you give it two things, you can confuse it. So I'm gonna break that down, that request down into just what the first thing I wanted to do is remove that that hardwired backend URL. It's unnecessary to expose that to the client, because if you give that to an attacker, they could try to start banging on the backend themselves. Okay. Okay, just no, don't use sed. Edit the files normally. Sometimes Claude Code will try to use sed, which is an old school editor, and it's overcomplicating things. I just wanted to edit the file. Okay, so here we see it remove that URL parameter. Okay. Okay. Now I want you to check why we are passing an iframe in tier 2. I want only web components to be used in tier 2. Investigate that. Investigate that and come up with a plan. Solid plan using ultra thinking. Anytime you use ultra thinking, it gives it a boost. Okay. And sometimes you just need to be a little smarter. You need to dig down and think a little bit before it gives you the response. Right. Okay, I want to make sure that this thing's still working. So we broke it already. Stop. We broke it already. I am seeing a 404 error in widget now for tier 2. No, don't restore the base URL. Just use it in the proxy server directly. Fix that. Okay. Okay, let's see what this 404 is coming from. Okay, I can see 404 errors over here in our test server. So I'll just feed that to our Cloud Code. Web component hasn't been rebuilt yet with the new changes. The old code is still trying to. Okay, hold on a second. You need to rebuild. Yeah, but I'm just running in dev mode. Let me just restart it. I don't think that was it, but we'll see. Okay, I restarted the dev server. Build the web component. You need to explicitly build it. Okay, npm run build. Okay, we have a build error. Paste that into Claude Code. And what I'm doing is I'm jumping back and forth between the test server and our backend server. I have Claude Code running in both actually, but I'm mostly using the one on the backend server and then just copying information back and forth to it. Okay, looks like we had a TypeScript issue. All right, so it's fixing that. Okay, try that again. Okay. This looks like a different one now. Yeah, it's definitely a different one. Okay. Want to edit this file? Yep, you can do that. It's basically adding, this is a TypeScript definition file. It's basically adding this definition in, which is what's causing our error. Okay, let's see if that fixed it. Now we have another one. If this doesn't fix it, I'm just going to tell it to fix it. I'm going to tell it to run the build itself, and then it should at least see the output. Save me some copy and pasting. Nope. That's definitely a different error, but I'm going to let it do it. You run it. Now, this is the beauty and also the curse of TypeScript, but it's more of a blessing than a curse. It's going to force you to like debug these things, and it's good because then your users won't run into these errors like down the road. What it's doing here is it defines a type, which is an interface. Basically, it tells it what to expect in terms of a string or a number or a format, like a date. And what it's doing, it makes you define that up front. It's called a type definition. And this is a strongly typed language called TypeScript. That's why it's called TypeScript. And it's actually very smart. And it weeds out a lot of security issues too up front. So we appreciate it. But sometimes it can be a pain. But you'd much rather do this than let your users find these issues or these bugs. No, see, I don't like that. What it did was, okay, pro tip, guys. It got tired of fighting it, so it just turned off the TypeScript. Like, no, 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 homie, don't play that. Never do this. Fix it. Okay, and what you can tell Claude Code is by adding a memory like this, you say never do at ts ignore. Fix the TypeScript errors. Okay, I'm going to put that into my I'm going to put in my user memory because in all my projects I don't want that to happen. So whenever you save something in Claude Code, you could save it at the project level or the user level. And I just saved it at the user level because I never wanted to do that. That's a security issue. Okay, and we don't do that. I wanted to fix the issue. Sometimes AI would just punt like that. It'll just quit. And you want to tell it, no, don't quit. Okay. Now I'm getting thankful that I went ahead and committed that stuff because if it gets too gnarly here, I'll just back out and we'll work on it with a clear mind tomorrow. Okay. Make sure that built. Okay, good. That's a good clean build right there with no errors in it. Okay. No red, a bunch of green. That's what we want to see. Now, okay, now what we have to do is run the dev server again. I don't know if that cleans up all of our issues, but it should clean up some of them. Okay, so now we still have this 404 error here, but we got rid of all those errors that we had down here in our console, which is great. Okay, Now let's see what the, okay. So we still have this 404 error right here. Okay, wait a second. Points to the, instead of trying to load from localhost widget, do that. Okay, so let's see here, CD back, and then we do user vibes. Okay, where's it at? Run PWD. We got to figure out where this thing's currently located. I think it moved. It looks like it moved over to this directory. Okay, now it's back. Okay. Okay, it says it built it. I don't think that was the issue, guys. Well, we got progress here. So that was definitely something going on there. Okay, what do we got going on down here now? Okay, I don't like all of these static chunks and stuff tell us basically that, let's see, we're definitely getting convex errors. Let me see if we can, okay, I see 200 messages here. That's good. But I'm seeing all of these chunk errors. Let's see. Fingerprint limits. Okay, let's give it these convex errors. Just give it a handful of them. Yeah, I didn't think that was the issue. This thing's got us going in circles, which is not cool. I'm just looking at the logs down here. Okay, and we've seen this before. Why are we calling clerk? Okay, all right, we're done with this. We're going to revert all of these changes, back them out. We'll work on this tomorrow with a clear mind. We do have our proxy working with tier 2. So let me just demonstrate that. Okay, and then the other thing that we did was I just backed all those out. Now what we have to do is also back them out over here. Okay, hold on a second. Yeah, that's not going to be as easy because that's a separate repo. What I do is close this and open. And we want to pick up now there's no repo out here. Okay, we have no choice but to come back here and tell it to back out those changes from test site A all the way back to removing the base URL. I want to reset the code back to that state. Reset to prior to removing that base URL. Okay, put it back in there. Now let's see what happens. Okay. All right, so we're back to working again. I just don't like it. It's not as secure as I want to make it. So what we're going to do though is we're going to just verify this still works. Okay, we voted. Okay, all of that still works. Okay. All right, guys. We've been at it way too long, twice as long as I wanted to go tonight. Thanks for hanging in there with me. It looks like we still have some people with us, and I really appreciate that. Look, we are building this app called User Vibes OS. I'm going to pick it up again tomorrow night, and we will go at it again. And the purpose of this app, again, for those of you who joined late, because some of you are wondering, what the heck are we building? So just for you hanging in there, I really appreciate it. I'm going to just back up and give you a recap real quick of what we're building. We're building this app called User Vibes OS. Okay, and the idea of it is for developers to collect user vibes or feedback from their users throughout the user's journey lifecycle with their app. So when the user first comes to the website and hits the landing page, they're going to give off some vibes, and we're going to collect that. And then when we give them a survey to qualify them as a user or to have them sign up, then we're going to collect that feedback. And all the way through the user journey, we're going to collect feedback or vibes, right? Now, this one right here is an important one. It's called a feature request. And we're starting with that, right? Because the rest of these have competitors. There's only a few competitors in this space, and they do it very poorly. So we're going to displace those guys. We're gonna start dunking on them. We already have more functionality than many of them. Okay, so we're gonna kill it on this one. That'll be our minimal viable product, and then we'll start moving around this way. Okay, so if you come along on this journey, you're gonna see me build this whole thing out, and we're gonna take it to market. I'm actually going to take just this function to market, and then I'm going to start adding the rest of them in. It's going to be exciting, guys. And I didn't mean to move that. Let me go ahead and undo that. Okay. So this is our User Vibes OS, and it has a front end that has JavaScript widget, if you will. And we've been troubleshooting these widgets and trying to get them to work with the back end. And we finally got it working after about an hour and a half. And then I went and messed it up, and now we just reverted it. Okay, so we'll pick that back up tomorrow. I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I really do. And drop me a note in here. Give me a thumbs up on this channel and on this video so the algorithms show me some love. And, if you got friends that are into vibe coding, send them my way. Make sure you forward my channel. You can also find out information about me up in the QR code up above here. I have free mentoring. And also in the link below, you'll find information about me and my free mentoring. Inside that group, I teach a lot of things, including what we're doing here. But I also have a secure vibe code masterclass inside of there. And so that's kind of exciting because I go in much more depth in all of this. Okay, but we're going to take this app to market. And I figured the best way to teach is to actually do it and then show you guys how I'm doing it. So you get my mind frame, my thought process. So once again, thanks for hanging out so long. I really appreciate it. I really do. And I will see you guys next time tomorrow at 8 o'clock New York time, PM. Until then, be blessed by the best.